Uh, to not scare people off, this is what we actually mean. To be truthful, I do not receive emails or messages back, and that's due to electronic access to property. Uh, the five people that I have noticed is someone who is at the level which is like extremely like aggressive. It's someone at the level of the court of justice in here, the prosecutor, a police officers, a journalist who met Jim Mattis lately, and a lady who had access to electronics. All five of them are from Yemen, and they have actually some sort of a say on how the moving of tankers and this stuff, and they are creating some kind of havoc basically. Uh, it's not a situation to be in. It feels like this entire region needs to be like a region which is solely controlled or like solely guarded by military personnel. Uh, I do not have time to act like in terms of hospitality or more. I have spent 3 years in Sweden, and well, clearly some of your children were not baptized, basically. Uh, this is the work. This is all my application. This is all what I did. What did I do in the entire period of time? There are like 7 phases. I made sure basically to remove myself or to showcase that some people who work in the security have psychological problems. In a normal country, they need to shrink and or they get fired. There is the electricity bill over there. In August 2017, I had like an application to do a PhD in ETH Zurich, and my electronics were nice. In December 2017, I managed to get Luanges for my thesis application. And then in January 2018, while I had a case submitted at the level of the International Criminal Court, to my understanding, all the individuals involved in that affairs are not allowed to leave the jurisdiction of of the International Criminal Court. The United States is not in the ICC. Therefore, I'm very sad to say that you have accepted someone who is basically, yes, and literally affecting the decisions of a case. There are few individuals, apparently their psychopathy goes really, really far. Uh, Starting from January 2017, Sweden was in the United Nations Security Council, and that added a lot of restrictions. From what I could remember, there was like 3 main topics which requested, or which there were like 3 main topics which got like the full attention of the region, including like Scandinavia in all of it. There was like a lot of discussions, a lot of talks. There has been like some diplomatic efforts. There has been like some humanitarian words, and there were also like a highlight of criminality from individuals. Uh, so there were 3 big issues, and I was involved in all 3 of them, locally, regionally, and continentally. Things never went outside like to Canada or to United States or something like that. Uh, Things were extremely tense. Uh, I managed to leave Sweden in time. I didn't wish to waste the money that I earned, and it's like I'm sorry to say this, or excuse me or pardon me to say this, So I wear like a nice shirt, I wear this hoodie so that you can treat me as equally as possible. There are postal issues. That's a 100% statement, and that 100% evident. There has been manipulation with my application to Princeton University to join them on a fellowship that is like 3000k, 300k, and that comes from the local police in here. Apparently, the local police in here, or someone from that police station, is involved in investigating a former president of the United States and a Princeton trustee or members of the Princeton trustee. That's extremely dangerous. These individuals have been involved in affecting judicial decisions in the European Union. I cleared myself completely on August 24th, 2016. That's a complete accuracy. Uh, Apparently, the individuals do not agree with that, and they climaxed into their frenzy. I am an individual who has been involved or busy his entire life. There are a few individuals who wish to steal intellectual property and to steal copyright, and they manage to all the dirty tricks on the book, and well, I do have to say, except probably because I traveled from Copenhagen safely. Uh, I would say, like, for the countries that I have been involved in, to Finland, I have copyright that is mine. I went to lead the work, so I did my copyright with you. Uh, well, I think that is an understanding because I don't wish to talk too much about that. I studied in Sweden, I completed my studies, and I solved 7 other problematic. Someone has to speak with the dean of the faculty, the rector of the university, as well as the supervisor and a member of staff over there, which apparently do not respect the European Courts of Human Rights and do not respect the European Convention on Human Rights. They didn't respect the International Criminal Court, and I managed to solve 7 other problematic with complete accuracy. It means like if you take a polynomial equation with 7 order, meaning like x power 7, it means that I provided the solution that gives ax plus b, meaning they gives like a solution uh, meaning like gx plus h, meaning like meaning like a linear function, and that linear function is economic growth. This is because I read many books, I read things. From the things that I read, which are copyrighted, this is a major breakthrough, and within my work, I managed to obtain Swiss copyright. I visited the Swiss embassy in April 2018. I had Swiss documents in April 2018. Apparently, when I called the embassy lies. When I call the individuals, they lie, and I managed, and this is like an issue which is extremely lengthy. To the White House, basically. Well, I could say clearly, uh, I don't know who was responsible for my departure from Sweden. I know one thing: Sweden didn't involve any police officers in here with anything, and apparently these individuals do not respect anything, and I'm a very peaceful guy. It's like I would seem crazy if I say to people I want the Nobel Peace Prize. I would seem irrational to say to people that I want the Nobel Prize in economics, and that I'm expected next month, like in December, to to highlight what I have found within like the Nobel Prize in physics, which is like in astrophysics. And apparently, when the money enters, it reaches the hands of thieves, basically, and the postal letters do not work out. And this is the crazy individuals that exist. I go and I met with the airport staff, meaning that there is a security staff responsible for the airport. There is security staff responsible for which are called the customs. I met both of them, and apparently they only had to share with me a story which is out of books, and they are still with their 2003 deep Christian South beliefs. While I'm just an individual trying to advance climate change work, and I face these irrational obstacles from people who are the correct terms to say idiots. And I keep on that, and well, you can see clearly that there is no authority to deal with these individuals. Uh, what do I say to friends? I should have stopped in Paris in September 2017. You could have booked a house because of my stature at that period of time. Could have booked a house, an apartment, a free space, just like for a couple of months to leave that craziness that was in Sweden at that period of time and before the German elections. And it has been noticeable that I don't know what's wrong with. So I still have this paper. In February 2017, I met all the requirements. Now I completed all the work. I met police officers and I saw how police officers behave in a normal country. I met them repeatedly. I complained to the police a lot about the security staff that were visiting me at night all the time. I do not receive money. I do not receive anything from the post. I checked with the postal services. I never knew that when you go with a scholarship with people, with me knowing people in Scandinavia, meaning at that period of time, especially in Norway and in all of other places, my career has been clear. Now it's like I'm 28 or something like that. I don't know. I don't think I'm living in the year 2020, like 2020. I'm in 2019. Apparently remain these individuals. Apparently they are not crazy. They are good mathematicians. And it's time basically is like for the Langley, the Pentagon, people with intelligence, people with military background, and people with this to deal with individuals who are under 30 years old and above 30 years old. And it's like everyone is a criminal and it doesn't feed their racist thoughts. It's like they just expect me to fail. They put obstacles on my way. And they have like been putting like a lot of things. And a lot of people, when I was there, like a lot of people were shocked by this fact. Is like they are foreigners who disrespect acquaintances of people in high positions or in high positions. And when I go there and when I meet individuals, there's like a display of mental illness or stuff. I just, yes, and they just called to make a phone. There's a police officer to call, there's someone to call. The authorities have done so, and immediately it's a disaster. Okay, so I met the police officer in June, okay? On the 12th of June, I went to the main police station. No, on the 8th of May. You know what they did? Okay, disaster started. It's like just from entry, disaster. On May 12th, a disaster. They told me like to write a letter. The letter reached them in the 27th of May 2019. And by that, they have stolen everything. And there's like someone in the police station who did all that mess. Then there was like after yes, and it went up until August 2019, where I was in the police chief, in the chief of police office. I spoke with him normally. Okay, and it's like those senior police officers code of scene is like within a frame period of like on 1 month or 2 months. There are like individuals from police station inside who behave like in a crazy fashion, or problem just starts and it's like okay, so you are an individual who studied energy and environment and who has a plan that involves 8 phases that handles with all levels of the currency. And we had that graduation certificate in our hands, and we decided to keep it to ourselves, to burn it, or to act in a schizophrenic, crazy fashion. Uh, you know what? It's this is basically like to the people, because I contacted the because I even told them here there is like a special court in The Hague, and there's like a special court. There's a court in the Netherlands and there's court in France. They meant their court. They meant the courts are there. Well, they had like some type of ability to understand that they can protect it and they can run it. They can like make that court functioning. The same in the Netherlands. Well, now I have sent this. I go in here. Those people who probably like extremist people from extremist parties didn't respect the decisions of those courts because they were in my favor. There were plenty of evidence, there was plenty of tales, and they only needed a translation. And that happened. However, you have an embassy in here. The embassy has an ambassador in the United States embassy, in the UK embassy, in the French embassy. I am someone with an intellectual ability. I know people for instance, the United States. Uh, I know people from New Jersey. It's like just from the university. They know my work. People from Massachusetts as well, since 2013. I don't know people like in the West Coast. I don't know. I met people from Oregon. They know what I work on, and I met few people from New York. But like the work in New York is like no, it's not me. It's someone else. So it's like a second contact or like a third contact, like an acquaintance, and yeah, and we are in this situation today. And why? Because there are like a type of racist people who simply decided to do otherwise, and apparently having been involved in the epic movement, and they go around in a group and they create stories to build up an alibi to cover up the forced marriage and other things that these individuals have been faced. It's like if someone come fresh and there is like some type of psychological trauma that has happened, well, nothing matters after that point in time. What matters is what was before that, because before that, that person has an economical interest, had like a political interest, and as well as a lot more, and that has changed after that. And we are in here, and people who are in key positions so far didn't understand the gravity of the situation. I call the individuals, they are responsible for paying for the fees of people, and apparently I have like a member of family, and then I have crazy individuals in the house who basically yes. And I told these individuals, and apparently you have your idiot people from Europe. They just come all the way here, and they finance abusers. They give them empowerment as well as a lot more. Why? simply because I'm the best in my field.